Hey heroes, Galaxy's Edge presents James M. Ward's CrimsonHawk Adventures.
Hello, my name is Walt, and welcome to the Lost Missions on CrimsonHawk Adventures. We have a fun show coming at you today to benefit Mission 22, which is our partners out there. It's a big organization that provides support for vets going through a tough time and finds them the help they need so that they can get through it. Like we know, those of us who've served in the military, you never do anything alone. It's always your fire team and the help of your buddies that get you through anything. So Mission 22 kind of carries that forward and brings it back to veterans who've transitioned out of service who might need some help. Today we have our glorious roundtable, starting with our series regular, Nick Prometheus Cole. How are you, sir?
I am happy to be here. Can you imagine playing D&D at 9 o'clock in the morning? It's like day drinking.
I love the way you think. We have Paddy Finn joining us from good old Ireland. How are you, sir?
Good to be here, and I'm all about that day drinking, but it's after 5 p.m. here, so
we don't judge. It's all good.
It's like day drinking.
Uh-oh, somebody's feeding back.
I had to hear my own wit.
That's fantastic. And then we have Night of Barsoom, who's one of our regular watchers. He's saying it's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere. And then we have Shadow the Illustrator joining us for her first ever session of D&D.
I truly cannot believe that someone on this planet has never played D&D. Even Joe Biden's played D&D.
How you doing today, Shadow?
I'm doing all right. It's the day after the holiday, so I'm just being lazy.
Right on. Now, Patty and Nick are both authors in the science fiction and fantasy community, and some of our audience have seen those guys before, but nobody has seen you in live in real Technicolor before. And the thing is, I know you through Keystroke Medium and the glorious illustrations that you've allowed us to all see, especially your maps. Your maps kick so much ass. Can you talk about drawing a little bit?
So I've always loved drawing, and it's the only thing that I've really enjoyed, wanted to do. And I just recently fell into maps last spring and found out they're really fun to do.
Right on. Yeah, the maps that you put up were glorious. So if anybody D&D wise, or if you have a role playing game company and you are looking to get some awesome cartography, especially like overland maps done. We'll put some links to some of her work in her Instagram. That way, people can check her out. KTF Fiend saying Joe Biden may have played D&D, but I doubt he remembers it. That's pretty good, dude. Please give yourself 100 XP for that. All right, so
I played D&D one time at Disneyland on acid, and to be fair, I don't remember it either.
Dear Lord, that sounds insane.
yeah.
Here we go. So we got there. All right, so I'm just moving some characters around real quick, and then we're going to show everybody the map. So does anybody need anything to do? Any questions, comments, concerns before we launch this thing off and get things rolling?
No, I'm just adding stuff to my...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was wondering at what point we'll know we've won.
When somebody dings the I hope you win D&D honey soundbite.
Yes.
Going out on Twitch.
Okay, Patty, your serious question now.
No, it was not a serious question, so don't worry. And I'm not even going to ask it now.
Right on. All right. So for those keeping score, this is you were probably more coherent than Robinette. For those keeping score, this is going to be one of our lost missions, so this is kind of like a side mission. But luckily, we have Prometheus from the main group here, so that we can ensure that copious amounts of trouble ensue. All right, so we start off. You guys are in a boat. You're crossing a small river. It was a little cool last night, so there's some fog drifting in, kind of obscuring the way everything's hanging out. You can hear the water against the hull. There's a light rock and a little chop to it. You have two locals that you guys have hired to take you upriver to where you need to conduct this lost mission. In doing so, you've had plenty of warnings from the locals that your mission is going to be fraught with peril, and there's plenty of superstition surrounding the cave of Herrera, which is where your mission takes you today. The boat crests through the water and kind of lightly brushes to the sand, kind of rocking to one side as the keel takes purchase on the ground. One of the ship handlers jumps off and kind of like pulls a little more. It's not a huge ship like a galleon or anything. You guys are in like a multi-tiered rowboat, basically, coming off of a much larger ship that had brought you upriver.
A junk, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. As they kind of rig the boat so that it's not going to go anywhere or be dragged back into the river, one of the guys on the sand motions. He's in his probably his early 40s or late 30s. He looks like his skin is weathered and looks like he's been doing this a long time. He's one of the few locals that you found understands the basic tongue and can understand your requests. And he motions, please. Come on the beach.
I will lead us out on the beach. We have what are the two other people that we have with us? What are their classes?
So, Paddy, why don't you tell us who you're playing today and what your character is?
Sure, I'm playing Kilius Thunderbeard, and I am a warrior dwarf. And Kilius is pretty much kitted out like you would expect a warrior dwarf to be kitted out with his axe and whatnot. And
does he have beer on him?
He always has beer. He actually has a mini keg attached to his belt, and it may or may not be empty. Kilius, his beard kind of has like it's plaited, but it's got it's been woven into like a little lightning bolt on the end. But yeah, he's kind of walking about in perhaps a bit of a stupor as he's following Prometheus.
Punk rock or Viking metal?
Viking metal.
Okay.
You had the correct answer. Shadow, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you're playing and what she looks like?
Should have closed it out. I am playing a ranger.
Does she have a name, or is she just the ranger? Kind of like the Mandalorian or like Madonna?
Let's keep it boring. We're just going to go with Shadow. That way I can recognize when people are talking to me.
Perfect. Excellent. And how's she kitted out? Should be in the middle of the sheet. She's got some armor, and it'll tell you what type. If you look about halfway down, you might see something that says studded leather. That does not mean you're some sort of I vote the ranger. It sounds badass. That's a comment you just got in the in the comments. So yeah, you're wearing studded leather, which is kind of like boiled leather hard plates sewn onto a jacket. Very maneuverable, but it's got metal studs on it to keep weapons from finding even more purchase. Yeah, you guys hit the beach. The sand and the lap of the water, all contribute to that like really musty smell. And your guide looks back to you and says, "Very important, sirs and madam. Very important. Weapons down. Weapons down." And he like gestures up. So you guys see there's kind of like wooden shale, not wooden, excuse me, shale cliffs, like kind of surrounding you. This might have been some sort of landing fortress at some point, but the jungle's kind of retaken it. You guys have asked for like the most convenient spot to land. So real quick, I will share my screen, and so that you can see it at home. Whoop. So you guys have the boat right there, and the stream can see this as well. You got you got your crew up there near the boat, and you start taking notice of people in and around the fortress watching you. They're silent. They're not wearing any armor. They're just wearing what looks like skins and furs and stuff like that. And there's tons of them on the cliffs, dozens. And they're just standing there silently in the mist. You didn't even notice them until your guide pointed them out. And he says, they will not do anything to you as long as you do not do anything to them.
Can we tell if they're armed?
Oh, they're armed. Spears, axes. Looks like primitive bows. Doesn't look like anything laminated, like a composite bow or anything like that. And the armor is very their armor is very simple. So maybe painted woods or something like that. If they're wearing armor at all, most of them are just wearing like skins and are bare chested. Male, female. This body paint's involved that has added to the camouflage effect, which is why you didn't notice them. And they're so Knight of Barsoom is starting early. He's saying, "Does Karen sense anything?" So Shadow, so that you know, because Patty's already been through this before. Our friend Nick has a sword that is imbued with an intelligence. It's heavily magicked, and it has a mind of its own with certain special abilities.
And for the book for the party description for everybody to get into it, basically looks like if Billy Idol were a half elf.
Yes,
that's his look. And just a lot of people are asking in the chat, where's the regular crew? We murdered them. And he says, no, they'll all be back at noon today with James Ward. This is a special mission. And if you come back at noon, you'll watch James Ward get to torment them. For now, we'll actually have fun playing D&D.
So they're just standing there. They're not reacting. They're not doing anything. They're not getting crazy. It's just they're just watching you. And he says your guide says they will not do anything to you as long as you don't do anything to them. The guide that stayed in the boat, who was kind of working the tiller oar that was in the back, he looks petrified. He hasn't spoken much since you guys started this whole affair, but he looks terrified. Like even the sheer presence of these guys is not a good thing.
These are my kind of folks, but that's Prometheus. He'll put his hand on his hilt and kind of look around and mentally ask Fever, what's going on here? What's the wisdom? What's the lore?
She accesses the deep knowledge that she has from her connection to ethereal forces and spirits, and she says, I do believe these people are some of the tribe that live in and around Herrera's cave. They've been here since before the cities were erected further to the north, and they know the idol that you've come for. They also know that foreign powers had put it there, and they put it deep within the cave complex so that no one of their tribe would be tempted for it. For there are traps and pitfalls and what they consider as demons further in to keep their people away from it. But if you're here to claim it, they don't care if you take the idol or the idol takes you.
Well, Prometheus might have a problem with that. There's only a one-way transaction there as far as he's concerned. All right. Would you show us the way into the cave?
He says, go that way. So if you look back at the cave again, some very uninteresting things. So right ahead of you is pretty much where the cave entrance is.
Okay.
So, and he just points that way, and he says, "I will allow you to take your thing from here. We are not allowed to go any further. I have an understanding with these people. Any adventurers who wish to take on the cave and go for the idol may do so. They consider it cursed. They will not stop you, but they will not allow us to help you as well."
Let me ask you this. Do you think they'd consider their lot much improved in life if the idol were gone?
They would absolutely. But they feel the idol is protected by their gods, and thus they will not hamper your way into the cave. But be careful. There are items in there that they consider sacred, which must not be taken.
Okay.
He
Are there
said-
gems?
I'm sorry?
Are there gems?
We don't know. We've never had anybody come out before.
Oh, never? All right. Well, just keep that boat ready to move just in case.
He goes, "We will stay right here." And then he looks back at the guy who's on the oar, and very, very, very broken common tongue. He says, 7 out, 7 in. No more ever begin."
And Killia says that's because they didn't have a Prometheus.
This is true. All right. The main guy says, your main guide says, "I greatly apologize. He has ferried 7 groups here, and no one has ever come out."
Well, let's drink to us, Killian. And
What is it that we're not supposed to take?
Prometheus will hit his constant bottle of bourbon.
What do you ask the guy that's in front of you a question, Shadow?
Yeah, what is it that we're not supposed to take out of there before I start grabbing?
Pshaw.
He says, I do not know what the items are. I do not belong to this group of people. I don't understand their ways, other than we have an understanding. We don't enter, and the ones we allow to enter must not touch their sacred relics. But they will not tell us what those are.
And it's true, KTF Fiend, Prometheus does have not a bag of dirt, a bag of sand.
Right on. All right, so what do you guys do? Do you, like I said, all those warriors, and there's probably about a dozen of them. There were more, but as you were just standing there talking to the guide, they seemed to lose interest in you and then kind of filtered away. What do you do?
Let's make a party marching order. I would say let's put our tank in front because he's a dwarf and we're going underground. Let's put the ranger behind him. Does the ranger use a bow? Is it she?
Oh, yeah.
So let's put her behind me and I'll go in the center.
Okay.
How does that sound?
All right. She has a very finely worked composite short bow, so she's
Okay.
going to be really good. Plus, she's specialized, so she's going to be really good at short range if you need it.
Okay, cool.
Achilles listens to what Prometheus has to say, and he seems a little bit. He doesn't seem too sure to begin with, but he raises this keg and takes a few swigs of it and steels himself and says, "Fair enough," and stands up front.
Yeah. All right.
Heading
Let's
in.
move.
All right, you guys are heading in. 2 shows today. This is friggin' awesome from Night of Barsoom. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So, just as a heads up, this is a benefit show for Mission 22. Like I said in the beginning, this is kind of us showing that stuff like this, like D&D and just friends getting together online, can pull people out of a bad time or a bad nosedive if you need it. For those who want to contribute and help out Mission 22, any donations today made to the link that you see on the screen is going right to Mission 22, and we're very proud to be partnered with them and working with that community. So if you get a chance, even if you don't donate, just tell your friends, come over here, witness some cool D&D and how that can kind of help people out, and we're gonna go forward from there. So you guys enter the cave.
We do.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So musty, just like you might expect a cave in the in a dense forest or a dense rainforest to kind of smell. It's got that earthy smell. There's little drips of water coming off here and there. You have tons of hanging moss and like cobwebs. The trail kind of meanders for a little bit, and then you exit the cave system into what looks like an overhang. It drops about like 20 feet to a jungle floor below, and it seems like you have there's a clear path ahead. It looks like there's a way down the cliffside that is very easily negotiated. Like I said, it's only 20 feet at the most in the highest spots. There are clear ways to get down that are already cut into the rock. And then you can see the start of a trail, but maybe 5 feet in, it just disappears into jungle. So you won't know how it goes or how wide it is or what shape it's in until you get down there.
I guess I would like to check for traps on the way down.
All righty. Now I need books and stuff. All right.
Books.
Go ahead.
D&D with books.
Are you going to have Fever check, or are you going to check?
Well, Fever doesn't do traps. She does do she is, but I have find remove trap for 65%.
Let's hit it.
So I'm going to rely on me, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to roll an 80.
Ooh.
80, which completely blows it.
Like I said before, we don't judge. You don't see anything. So you guys see him kind of creep ahead a little bit, checking the ground, tapping the stone. You don't appear to see any traps. Killian, as you step forward, or as Prometheus kind of heads a little bit forward of you, he's got what looks like almost a foot-long millipede, just kind of like cresting the top of his shoulder. It doesn't look like it's attacking him; it's just on him. But it's thick. It's about the size of a quarter, a United States quarter round, and it's maybe a third of a meter.
Okay. Killius, as the character, would probably freak out at the sight of this thing, and
so as a ranger, the ranger Shadow knows that from being in the area before, it's not something that's going to probably mess you up. But if he like hits it the wrong way, it might try to pinch him. And the pinchers are long, are about the tip of your finger long, so it might be kind of aggravating to get hit by that. What do you guys do? Do you let him know it's there? Because he doesn't know it's there.
yeah, Killius would just say, Prometheus, and he starts like gesturing to his own shoulder and trying to point you.
You don't want to touch it?
He's so freaked out he can't even like put into words what he's trying to communicate, but he's trying to use his body language. It's he's just shocked by this horrible thing. He doesn't like bugs.
I will receive this message, and then I'll just pop my little dagger that I have in my chest and give it a flick.
All right, yeah, it just hits the grass and kind of skitters off. As you turn around, you can see like some movement over on the ranger's shoulder.
I will investigate. Is it another millipede?
It's like a gaggle of them, maybe 10, 15, and they're just kind of like like moving around her armor. There's some slight tapping that you really didn't hear when you were inside the cave from all the water dripping and stuff like that. But she's maybe got 10 or 15 on her back.
I'll just tell her, don't move, and then I'll start to pull them off with a knife.
Yeah. So I mean, they wrap on your hand and what do you call it? Some of them are protesting being taken off, but they don't really mess with you. They seem normal. So they don't seem like the kind of thing that you would put in a dungeon to put in a dungeon. We're watching the chat and people are like, oh, okay, fireball it.
That'll sort of like.
Well, if James was running this, the millipedes would have all transformed us into drow.
All right, so you guys clear them off, and then continue down the path. You get down, and there's a definite way for you guys to make your way through. It starts, like I said, once you get 5-6 feet in, the canopy is just insane. So it goes from like bright morning. You guys got there like after sunrise, so bright morning, and the fog was just starting to burn away, to like you can almost feel like dusk as you start entering the tree cover.
What is the floor like?
Moving. There's tons of insects on the floor, beetles and ants and more millipedes. Looks like they were congregating in the warmest spots where the sun was coming through. But as you get deeper, it's less intense. But there's still spots of like movement on the floor. But it's foliaged over. So you got like knee-length palm. Then you have some tree like tree limbs and stuff like that, and then maybe 10-15 feet above you it starts the tree cover, and it's thick, it's dense.
Is it sand? Is it dirt?
It's dirt. Sand? It's like wet dirt, mud, in certain places depending.
And if I take a moment to like go down a couple of inches, is it still dirt or is it finished stone?
You don't know, but you might have an expert who might be able to tell you how far the dirt goes.
Yeah.
Paddy?
Oh, yeah, because I know what it's like in these kind of environments.
Well, no, you know about stone floor, stone flooring.
Stone masonry and that sort of thing. Yep.
So
what do you need from me?
Yeah, if you go ahead and roll a 1d6,
mm-hmm.
Right, you want 3 or less.
Oh, dear. 1.
There you go. So that constitutes as less. You probably figure that the rock from the cliff that you just descended descends maybe 10 to 30 meters or 10 to 30 yards ahead of you before it dips, and this ground is more spongy than it is rock. But closer to the cliff face, you're looking at maybe 2 or 3 feet down you hit the stone. Further away, it's going to be really, really deep before you hit stone.
I relay all this information to the rest of the guys.
All right. Continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're walking in a jungle, am I able to use tracking to see what's around us?
I would highly encourage that. Let's do it.
That's a pro move right there, Shadow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You sure you haven't played this game before?
That's bad.
Positive, but walking in a jungle, I want to know if something's coming up behind me.
Oh, it's the Malinoisville omen.
Yep. I apologize for Balder's intensity. He is very upset that the mailman is either early or late.
I think that every time Balder, gives his battle cry, we should roll a d10, and if it's like a 5 through 9, we get a +1.
Yes.
And if it's a 1 through 5. Or 6 through 9. If it's a 1 through 5, we get a -1. It's ill omen.
Yeah, we should definitely suggest that on the
stream make that
today.
Mechanic.
Hell yeah, because he's being a punk. All right, so Shadow, go ahead and on that link I gave you still running that on your phone?
Nope, it's up on my
your PC?
iPad.
Okay, go ahead and roll a 1d20.
Who ate a ton of turkey yesterday?
Oh God.
Got a 12.
What did you get? A 12?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you look on that sheet that I gave you, on the top left-hand corner, there is the list of your abilities. One of them either says Dex or Dexterity. Can you read me that number?
14.
All right, so you needed a 14 or less. You got a 12, so you made it, right? So you see there are a ton of tracks in this area. You have some booted tracks and a couple of places where it's like the shoes that they were wearing as a ranger, were totally not suited to the environment. So some sort of flat soled shoe with limited traction. So probably something you might see in a fine clothing shop versus like an outfitter. Wrong for the environment. If you relay that to your party, they'll be able to give you more information on that probably. But beside a lot of those tracks, there are like unbooted footprints, tons of them, coming and going from all directions.
Okay. So I'll let everyone know we're not in the jungle by ourselves. Someone came through really not ready.
Can you tell what kind of humanoid they were by the weight and impression? Were they lithe and acrobatic like me, a half elf? Were they chunky and blocky, a lot of weight, center mass like the dwarf?
Go ahead and give me another one of those rolls.
For the D20?
Yes, please.
I got a 4.
Oh, that's fantastic. So in some of the tracks, you can tell that the tracks are more like the tracks Paddy is making. So very short and heavy. So probably a dwarf or dwarf-like. There's one set of tracks that's a little deeper into the foliage. Those tracks are very light. In fact, if you didn't roll as good as you did, you would have missed it. Those tracks resemble a lot of the way Prometheus walks. And then the unbooted or unshoed footprints, they what do you call it? They only appear when it gets to the trotted part. So where everybody seems to go into the jungle, when they hit the foliage, they disappear completely.
I'm going to look up into the trees.
Go ahead and roll your wisdom at a -2.
I rolled a 9, and I think my wisdom is. Oh, I missed. No, my wisdom's only 10.
Oof. Okay. Yeah, you look up in the trees. There's some wildlife up there. Nothing harmful. A couple of monkeys. Something that kind of resembles a raccoon with a big long tail and a snout like an anteater. But other than that, nothing that seems harmful or hazardous. You don't see any people in the trees, so and it's quiet. I mean, you can hear some of the like bugs and stuff like that moving and chirping and what have you. There's some birds overhead, but other than that, you don't hear anything weird.
Okay.
Okay, I want to look up too.
Go ahead. Go ahead and roll your tracking roll. That 1d20 again, and you want to get your wisdom was a 14, I believe.
15.
Your wisdom's a 15. All right, so you want to get you just don't want to roll an 18 or higher.
Okay. I got a 6.
Oh. Some of the branches are very well worn, bark missing, smooth spots on the trees, which either means that something with antlers was rubbing them, which is totally wrong for the area you know as a ranger. And so the more likely thing that happened is people were climbing into the trees and leaving that way once they got out off of the path.
Okay, so we have 3 people here.
But the way forward into the cave is kind of where they depart up into the trees.
They so like think of it like you got a driveway, and on either side of the driveway starts a garden. There's some like footprints on the entrance to the driveway of these like barefoot footprints. But once you get on the driveway, they skirt to the outsides. So it looks like they're avoiding the path.
Yeah. So we should avoid the path. So can the ranger find us a way to follow the boot prints to the left or the right? Let's go with the boot prints of the dwarves.
Okay. So go ahead and give me another one of those tracking rolls again to kind of pathfind your way. Starting to go through, Ricky. Go ahead and roll that die.
I got a 17.
17. Ooh. Okay. She kind of has a good idea, or she thinks she has a good idea of where to go, and she kind of, throws the knife hand, and she's, probably thinks it's this way. So you start skirting the path.
Yeah, and I'll lead from here because I actually have tracking too.
Okay.
And so I'll try to follow the heavier footprints around the way that she's directed.
As Prometheus is doing that, can I just keep an eye up above to make sure nothing sort of like drops on us?
Absolutely. All right, so you guys you don't go far before you see your first problem. It's about maybe 50, 60 yards in. The canopy has gotten very thick, so it's almost like dusk here, even though it's full sunshine out. You guys are far enough away from the path that you're not on it, but so that you can still see it. You look on the path, and you can see all of the boot prints and blah blah blah. And there is about 20 yards in. There was a pair of idols, kind of like stone statuettes, cylinder-like in appearance, with kind of weird faces on them, probably tribal in nature. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they what do you call it? They are framed on either side of the trail, and as you go another 10, 20 meters, 10, 20 yards, there's what looks like a stack of something like moss or whatever that is growing on something that doesn't look like it's naturally part of the terrain. So it looks like the jungle is trying to claim something.
I'm getting some never-ending story vibes from those statues.
Does Fever detect any treasure or gems in the idols?
No, but there is a small gem on underneath that green mound.
So we go to the left, we skirt, we come to the two idols. Do they kind of force you into a choke point onto the trail?
No, because the thing is, right, the tracks that you guys have kind of been following just stay on the trail, right? So nobody's leaving the trail. They just kind of follow the trail along. And then against one of the trees that kind of frame it, you see a pile of something, but it's covered in moss and vines and plant life. Looks like the jungle's trying to reclaim it.
And it's against one of the trees.
Yep.
I'll look up into that tree.
There's nothing in the tree.
Okay. I'll approach that pile and activate Fever's flame feature and kind of wave it over it.
Oh, kind of try and burn it away?
Yeah.
It takes a while because everything here is damp and like wet. So it takes a few minutes for it to dry out. Once it starts burning away, you see it's a human, probably been here maybe over a few weeks. Decomposition has started to move in, and it's moving fast. In the jungle, things rot quick. He's wearing, yeah, exactly. He's wearing leather armor that is decomposing just almost as fast as he is. Around his neck, he's got a silver chain with a garnet on it. He's carrying a sword, and give me another wisdom check.
I'm going to make it that time with a 1.
The way his armor is kind of embedded into some of the ribs that you're seeing, Something big and round punched him in the chest hard enough to fuse some of his ribs into the leather.
Something big and round.
Wow.
Whoa.
Can I make a traps check to figure out if this was done by a swinging log or boulder,
Go for
or
it.
if this is by combat damage?
Yep, go for it.
I missed it by 3. 68.
So you don't think it's combat damage. So maybe some sort of trap. You just don't. You didn't kind of. You don't recognize exactly what it is, but.
With my stonemasonry, would I be able to tell if it was like stone or
Yeah, go
rock?
ahead. Yeah, hit me.
Is it a wisdom you need, or
Yep, hit me with a wisdom check.
wisdom?
No,
Got
excuse me,
a
intelligence.
Intelligence.
Yep.
A 9. I rolled, and my intelligence is 15.
Oh yeah, that's great. Was not made by. You don't think it was made by something stone because the pattern is very irregular. Maybe either something carved or something like wooden and cut.
Okay.
But whatever it was heavy, real heavy.
And he got knocked against this tree. So I'm going to kind of try to reverse triangulate to figure out from the position of his body how he could have gotten flung here.
That's when you detect the tripwire.
Ah, okay. Where is the tripwire?
Almost 90 degrees from where he's sitting.
So he's here, 90 degrees.
So
Right
yeah. So he was kind of off the path at an angle. So directly across the road, just about at toe height. There's some of the foliage kind of covering it, so you didn't notice it at first. But you guys weren't using the path anyway. The thing that kind of weirds you out is it's almost translucent and mucusy. So maybe some sort of plant matter, maybe a tendon was used, but not anything like man-made.
Is it easy to avoid, or is it better to disarm it?
If you guys are on the road, as long as you know it's there, you could easily step over it. If if you guys continue just off the road, it's not even going to bother you.
Okay. What can she tell me about the garnet?
It's not very expensive.
Okay.
So maybe 20 gold pieces worth, the whole thing, including the silver chain.
Sweet. Does he have anything else?
He's got a sword, but the sword is quickly rusting.
Okay.
And there's a dagger in his boot. The dagger looks like it's in good order, but the actual handle is starting to come apart.
Okay. We'll take the garnet.
Okay.
And let's avoid the trap.
All right. As you continue, you guys continue forward. There's a section of wood line that seems a little off when you go to check it. It is maybe a 10-foot long log, very big and wide around, with a ram head on it. The ram head looks like actual ram horns that have been shellacked or whatever, and there's a skull in the center, also with some sort of shellac or resin, as kind of like the ram, as like the center focus point of the ram.
Okay.
So, and it's left in place, so there must be another tripwire somewhere.
I shall search for that tripwire.
Once again, it's on the road.
Okay. We will avoid it.
All right. All right, you guys continue forward, and Prometheus, give me a 1d6 roll.
Yes, and as Knight of Barsoom says, it's fun in games until someone gets turned into a werewolf. Then it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's our 3 p.m. That's our 3 p.m. game.
that is a shout out to everyone's favorite Cavalier, J.R. Handley, who I think ate so much turkey last night that he had to go to the hospital.
Oh my god.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just joking. So what am I making?
Roll a 1d6. Same for you, Patty. 1d6.
I will come up with a 4.
And I got a 3.
Okay. All right, you guys. The path starts to wind a little bit, and then takes a sharp angle to the left. And let's see. Let's go here. So you start. It starts. Some of the foliage starts to thin out a little bit, and it brings you into an area that's wide open and kind of twisted, a little bit. A little bit. What do you call it? Elevated in some spots and sunken in others. So you might have to do some climbing to get around it.
So this sort of the central area is the elevated part?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have rope use and mountaineering as my non-weapon proficiencies. Can I see like a path of least resistance or something that might look like the safest way through this area, or is it too hard to see?
No. You can see some places where, once you kind of get the lay of the land, because of the amount of stonework that your people do, and because the cities that you guys normally dominate tend to be in areas where you have to climb, you find an area that has some consistent marks on it, and you even find some like grappling hooks. You find some rope that has been eaten by the jungle, but there's still like a fragment of it wrapped around a tree. You can the ranger shadow detects some like burn marks in the bark where people have set up ropes before and used specialized knots to lower equipment. So you can see that there's a point here where people have crossed before. And it doesn't look like you have to cross over the peak, but it gradually raises into the center. So you either have to go around it or you have to climb over it. It looks from the path, most people go around it.
And most people didn't come back. So
I would like to use my climbing skills to ascend, and then I'll lower rope down.
Okay. All right. So you got to climb down first.
Okay.
Right. And as you're getting down to the base, in the basin there are these like palm fronds, and as you go to step through them, one of them slices your boot. So like slices completely through the leather.
Okay.
It doesn't cut you, so you didn't, but obviously these very dark green, almost black palm fronds are rigid enough to cut through leather. So you're going to have to be careful. It's going to slow you down a little bit.
Can I use fever to burn a path through them?
It's very wet. It's going to take you a very long time.
Okay. And how many meters do I have to cross?
10. So
Okay.
about 30 feet.
What if I get down on what if I crawl?
You'll be face height to these palms.
Well, my beautiful face, my 18 come. Not the face, not the face.
Not the face.
I will attempt to move carefully through them using my Billy Idol half-elf skills.
Yeah, as long as you're slow and use your sword to move things, you can get through. It's just not very fast.
Okay. Cool.
Shadow, did you say you were gonna? Did you say have something to say?
I have a hand axe. Am I able to hack my way through the ferns
Yes.
so that they don't cut me?
Yep.
I want to do that.
They're rigid. The ferns themselves, they're hard to cut, but the stem is not hard. You can get it though. So you start helping to clear a path.
Yeah.
Everybody, give me a wisdom roll.
I make it with a 3.
Ooh, that's nice.
oh dear.
So that's a D20 again, Shadow.
Okay.
Also, I drink bourbon if that.
Like you should.
Yeah.
I got a 10.
Okay. So, and what did you get, Patty?
I have my nose in my cask of beer with a 20.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're very excited about that cask. You hear, psst, over here. Hey,
Okay.
turn around.
All right. Who's whispering?
You start looking around.
Yep.
You see, it takes a minute, but you can see something tucked against a tree, hidden by some of those ferns. You see what looks like shins, like what do you call it? Shins covered in armor, kind of sticking out from the fronds.
The shin guards.
Yep.
Okay. I've got to get the other two's attention because
Prometheus heard
we're
it,
not
so
alone.
he's looking. He's looking where you're looking.
Okay.
We're just seeing, and because I'm sort of a master of camouflage, do I see any more details if I sort of unfocus and try to see the pattern that's not supposed to be there?
There's definitely the shape of a person sitting down against the tree, covered by some palm fronds.
Okay. I'll say friend or foe.
Depends. Are
On
you
what?
with? Are you with them?
No, I'm definitely not with anybody. I'm with me.
Then you.
These people are with me too.
If you're with you and they're with you, but you're not with them, that makes you a friend.
Yes.
He slowly stands up, very haggard. Looks like he hasn't eaten in a few days. Probably hasn't slept in more than a few days. He's not wearing armor other than the shin guards and one kind of bracer on one arm. The beard looks unkempt, like he hasn't groomed in several days. He slowly makes his way through the fronds, and he says, "Are you here to get me out?
Yes.
Did the company send you?
No.
Then you're not here to get me out.
I'm here to get you out if you want to get out.
All right, let's leave before they come back.
Who's they?
The ones who did this." And he starts looking around nervously, but gesturing wildly.
Okay. I'm going to give him a little water and food.
Hungrily and gratefully accepts both of them.
Okay. Now, slow down and tell me what they are.
All right, so excuse me, trying to talk and eat at the same time. It'll cost you, random British guy. Native Mushroom says in the chat. That's fantastic. Please take 100 XP. So he says, the company sent us here for the idol. They know what it is. They know. And then
What is it?
He goes, well, you must know, otherwise you wouldn't be here for it either. The locals, they think it's cursed, but it's not. It's so much. He goes, damn near put the priests out of business, I would wager, but that's another thing for another time. He goes, they sent us here. We had to get it, and the guides we hired, they didn't make it. They bought it early on, but then the trees came alive. They came alive and they ate them. They ate my friends. They ate our pack animals. He's like, one of them had a gristhound, big war dog looking thing, and it impaled him and ate it right in front of us. He goes, I can still hear the dog screaming. It was awful. You have to get me out of here. He's like, I'm not a poor man. I'm one of the expedition leaders. I have money. I will pay you to get me out of here right now. And also, if you have another little bit of that food, I'll take that as well.
I will give him more food. Where were the trees at when they came alive?
They were further down in the trail. They don't come this far.
What's up at the top of that peak?
A tree. Leaves and branches. A tree.
Okay. I'm here to get the idol. I'm going to get the idol, and I'm going to come back for you.
That's a bad idea. They're there waiting for you.
Then I pull out fever and ignite it, and I go, yeah, but I got this.
That might work. I'll wait here. And he traces back toward. He comes back
I'll get his name.
He's like, I'm Norton.
All right, Norton, we'll get you out of here. Any other things you got for me to know or Anything that you can help us with, or
Yeah, if you die, you become one of the trees.
well, that's not going to happen.
All right. Well, you have the flaming knife.
Yeah.
They don't seem to have the flaming knives. They
Yeah.
might be trees.
I also have this, and then I hit my bourbon and give him some. This will give you superpowers.
He coughs pretty hard after only having his first sip of water after a few days, and then he what do you call it? He mind if I take this?
Now this goes with me, but you can hit it if you come. Gives you superpowers, makes you feel good.
I'm going to the trees, and he goes back to his spot.
Well, I hope there's some left by the time I get back, but I don't think there will be.
All right, so you guys continue.
Yes.
All right, keep going. He tells you that the area here is not as trapped. But
Okay.
once you get past this, once you go back up the slope on the other side, there are traps to watch out for.
Okay.
So you guys make the climb, get to the other side, and that's the first thing you see. There's somebody impaled on what looks like a spear trap. It looks like spears descended from the trees, and one of the spears impaled his throat, and he's basically just hanging, impaled into the ground, and being kept up by the spear through his throat.
I think now's a great time for Paddy to talk about his product. That he,
Really?
Okay. This is where we're doing this?
This is where we're doing this. Yeah, okay, so I've written most of a book of magic items. It's called Eisendore's Vault of Tragic Treasure. Very thematic, given where we are and what we're doing. And it's a supplement for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, really. And we're kickstartering it, if that's even a verb.
It is now.
It is now. Get that in the dictionary. So it's going to be launched in February at some point. We have a pre-launch. We put that up 2 or 3 days ago. We've got a bunch of people just following it, stay informed, and we're looking forward to it. Having a lot of fun working with artists, getting to do stuff we love, create magic stuff, content for Dungeons and Dragons. What's not to love? So
right on. All right, you guys want to start pressing on? You know that at least one area is trapped.
Could I
see why they don't care if we go in?
Yeah, can I look around the area where we see this guy who's kind of been
impaled
got on the
to
wrong end of this spear trap? Yeah. Can I look around the trap, that area, so to figure out if we try to go around it, will we trigger something else?
Go ahead. That's you checking for traps. Go ahead and roll a 1d6. Prometheus, go ahead. Are you going to be checking as well?
I am, and I'm going to make it this time with a 43.
Ooh, nice.
Another 3.
So the spear trap is obviously meant to freak whoever is still alive out as much as possible in the way that it pins somebody and kind of props them up a little bit and drive them into the wood line. And if you go into the wood line, there are more traps there as well. So there's on one side, it looks like a swinging hinge trap with spikes radiating, or wooden spikes radiating out. That looks like it would do some damage. On the other side, it's a swinging hinge trap that goes the other way, but will probably knock you back down the hill. And with a 10-15 foot drop, it might not kill you, but if you twist or break an ankle in this environment, it's still quite a ways back to where the boat is. You could be having some trouble, especially crossing the open ground in those pits on the what do you call it, with all that black palm fronds on the ground.
What about just the way forward along the trail?
You don't detect anything within the first 10 or 20 feet.
Okay. Let's stay on the trail. Are we still looking at loam and dirt, or are we looking at finished stone?
This is dirt, so like a dirt trail.
Okay. And what do we see in the trees? Anything?
Nothing to speak of. Just
Okay.
wildlife. Every once in a while, you see like a big snake crawling around or something like that. But it's definitely something like a constrictor. Nothing that's
Okay.
going to jump down and bite you.
Okay. Then we'll go down the path and avoid getting off road.
Okay. It goes for another 50, 60 yards. Everybody go ahead and roll me a 1d6.
1d6 is a robot. 3.
4.
And Shadow?
3.
All right. You guys, what do you call it? Make it 3/4 of the way down. As you pass, you hear a loud snap. And these two big trees that look like they were bent backwards, they have giant spears, big round sticks carved into spears, lashed to one end. They cross into both sides and basically slap into the dirt. And then just, as they're shaking back and forth, just tapping into the dirt several times.
Right in front of us.
Behind you.
Behind us. Oh, okay. Well, why would that have happened?
You don't know, but then you hear like all sorts of skittering wildlife, birds taking off from the trees, everything outside reacting to that big loud snap and then the tapping going on. Okay. So something set off that trap.
Okay.
So ahead of us is like soft foliage or earth, or it's not like packed or anything.
It's not really packed. It's if you've ever walked through a forest, it's like that.
Okay. So can I take out my little cask and kind of like just roll it forward as far as I can in front of us?
Okay. Yeah, nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Okay.
All right, what do you do?
I just turn to the others and say, I think it's safe.
I'm 50-50 sure it's safe. I'm going to talk with Fever for a second and say, when that guy said the trees came alive, do you think he meant the trees, or do you think he meant people who know how to use the trees as camouflage?
Would it appear as the same thing to someone who didn't know the difference?
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's trees so much as people who know how to use the trees. I would say to the ranger, what's the best way to deal with people that use the trees to fight from?
What do you think?
I don't know what's the best move here.
But maybe your ranger wisdom does.
Yeah, so if you want to roll that 1d20 and tell me what you get.
A 2.
Oh, that's really good. You should thank Wizards of the Coast for their die roller, because it's really working for you today. Luckily, those aren't attack rolls, because you want those going the other way. She starts talking about her experience in the Goblin Surge that happened long ago, and when she was fighting in those wars, the goblins were very used to bounding through rock, and Paddy can actually confirm this when he had to suppress in his homeland the members of the Surge that came through where he was. So they were using the trees. Much like they were using the inner surfaces of a cave complex. And the best way to fight would be to focus somebody in one direction and then attack them from another, camouflaged by the trees. Get them into like a U-shaped or a V-shaped ambush. Keep forcing them into somewhere, and because you have the vantage point from the trees, you can read the terrain better than somebody on the ground. And that's how she would figure that somebody from the trees would use it. But you're not detecting anybody just yet. So
Prometheus, because he's half Roman general, would say, let's make their environment awful. And if we can't camouflage, if they can see us down here, let's make them using the height of the trees a real bummer. The best way to do that is smoke. The best way, and what we have going for us is wet wood burns smoky.
So you're gonna
So
light up a fire.
yeah, if we can get a good fire going using all our oil, I have about 8 flasks.
It won't take that much. You
Yeah.
won't even use half, because once it dries out, all you
Yeah.
got to do is put some wet wood on top of it, and
Yeah.
there's going to be your smoke.
Let's spend some time getting the area really smoky up there.
Okay. It takes about half an hour, almost an hour, and then
Yeah.
you get the smoke you want. So this environment, this very dark environment, because the thick canopy overhead becomes almost ghostly with the smoke that you guys generate, and it makes you seeing from the ground up very difficult, as well as you would assume going the other way.
Right.
You continue down.
And-
Oh, go ahead, please.
And then moving around in a dangerous environment with that, maybe we'll get lucky. I don't know. That gives us some cover to kind of move forward and keep our eyes on the ground and try to find some traps and maybe get a little cover and maybe get lucky. Okay. So we'll move forward with under smoke now.
Right on.
But I would say still watch the trees and I'll watch the trail.
Would it be worth us taking some sort of torch or stick that's on fire with us to use it further up ahead if we need more smoke?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Why don't you carry a torch and I've got fever.
Yeah, Achilles pulls a torch out and kind of blows on it to make sure it's smoky.
I just want to salute KTF Fiend in the chat for saying, Norton, kill him before he tries to sell you antivirus software. That's pretty good, man. Take 100 XP for that, please. So, all right, you guys continue forward.
We have the most leveled up audience ever.
Yeah, right. Lighting small fires as you go to keep the smoke up, and you get to an archway. Part of the arch, kind of like at the like 11 o'clock, is broken off and fallen into the path. There's all sorts of strange symbols carved into the rock, and beyond it is a circle. The circle has 2, 4, 6, 8 stones, standing stones around it. In the center of the standing stones is a kind of like a broken down, like a sawed down tree. The tree is huge. It was probably gigantic way back when it was planted. And that in the center of that tree is what looks like a statue of a golden lion.
Ooh. I'm going to ask Fever about it.
It radiates a strange aura. It's not... I can't say that it's magic, but maybe divinity? There's something powerful radiating from that idol.
So we've dealt with a Sphinx before. Is it maybe something like that?
I don't detect that energy, no.
Okay. Any visible traps?
Not that you can see.
All right. We'll move into the circle of stones.
Okay. Once again, tree limbs, tons, tree roots coming off of it are very big. Some of the roots sticking out are as high up as your knee.
Okay. Are we able to walk up those to approach the golden statue?
You might have to walk around them. It's not so much, that they're. It's not so much that it's. They're going to obstruct your path. You just might have to kind of maneuver a little bit.
Okay.
So. Yeah, you're there. So there's been no traps all the way up to the stump.
Because the stump is the trap.
If Prometheus has been a fan of Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Okay, so is this the idol?
This is what you were sent for, yes.
Okay.
So
Go get buddy.
Killius starts tying his rope into like a loop, and he looks to Prometheus and says, "Should we try to get a rope around it and pull it down?"
I'm going to visually inspect the idol for traps around the stump. Any traps there?
As you like get closer and start kind of like maneuvering your face around to see what's there, you hear in your head, "Boss."
Yes.
And that's when you start feeling more than hearing, almost like a buzzing sound with like a high pitched tone throughout. It almost sounds like bees flying by a dinner bell.
Okay.
But it's constant. It's like a constant tone all the way through, that's radiating from the idol. And then as you're kind of like, what the, you're kind of looking beyond the idol in those stone, on those stone monoliths. There's things hovering just in front of the stone that weren't there before,
So
like items.
Like items.
So in front of one, there's a sword. In front of another, there's a set of armor. In front of another, there looks to be a hammer. There is a set of crossed axes in front of another. So each one has their own kind of gift there.
Yeah. So I'm going to reason with Fever for a second and say, are these real? Can you detect if these are real?
They are real. However, I don't know why I didn't detect them before.
They appeared as we approached the idol.
Correct.
Is the idol offering these instead of it?
I don't know, but now I'm getting a sense as this sound keeps increasing. I get the sense that something doesn't want us here.
Something to do with the items, or some malevolent force around, or the idol itself?
It's too indeterminate. I can't pin it down. It's everywhere and nowhere all at once.
It's everywhere and nowhere all at once. There's items all around us. We came for the idol. Is the ranger seeing any kind of animal presence?
Animal presence?
Yeah, nothing. All right.
Is there anything on the way that the items are made, or any markings on them that would indicate anything that we...
I'm not laughing at you. Knight of Barsoom is saying, "Ready that bag of sand and get ready to run, y'all."
And what's up? Let's honor James Ward by looking up.
You got clear blue sky.
Clear blue sky. Ooh. And this presence is still growing.
Yes. Although the sound that was gradually increasing from the idol is now at a steady constant. It's not painful or like so overwhelming that you can't hear things going on around you. It's just more annoying and ever present.
Okay. I'm going to check the stump of the idol. Do I see any sort of traps there, or anything that would indicate that the idol can't just be picked up and taken?
There's no sort of seam around it. I mean, all you got are a tree stump and like the rings telling the age of the tree. That's it. But none of them like if you take a thieves pick and poke at it, you get like wet wood. You don't get no triggers.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any problem with this, so I pick up the idol.
Okay. What do you two do? Anything other than drop your jaw to the floor?
Ready my shield and axe. I'm kind of like hiding
my
from
bow and
Prometheus.
ready to run.
So you pick it up, and nothing appears to happen.
Okay. I'm going to ask Fever, doing her lure detection
And
thing now.
the sound is stopped.
Okay. What does this thing do?
From what I can feel from its presence in the ether, it heals.
Ooh, baby.
But that's all I can tell.
Okay.
The magic has a faint restoration aura, but there's something sinister here as well.
Not associated with the idol.
Aimed at the idol, it feels like.
Aimed at the idol.
Can I inspect the space the idol was on?
It's just
under it.
just a tree stump.
It's tree stump.
And so, what are the items on the pillars?
As you pick up the idol, those disappear.
Okay. Well, there's that. Is there any other way out of this area or back the way we came?
Back the way you came. The back area is a cliff, kind of like a rounded out cliff and a redoubt. And if you go up that way, you're looking at a 50, 60-yard climb.
Well, we got to go back and get Norton.
Because he's got the best antivirus.
Yeah. Let's start to withdraw.
As you step off of the wood from the tree, the spaces in between the stones, you see spears come up. So it takes 3 spears to fill the space to where you'd have to work to get through them. They just come up and like kind of lock into place.
Okay.
And that's all the way around. So you either have to try to maneuver around the spears, or you have to climb the stones.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll climb the stone.
One of the things that catches your nose, Prometheus, as you get to the stone, there's a pungent smell, almost like modern cleanser, mixed with something citrusy. You know this smell because you've used this kind of poison before.
Oh boy.
And that's on the spears.
That's on the spears, but not on the stone.
No.
Okay.
So you try to climb the stone?
Yeah, try to climb the stone.
All right. So you get about it takes 2 of you to get up onto the lip of the stone. And as that happens, you have those big, huge roots that were coming out on the from the tree surface. So they were pretty wide and pretty big across, and they're there, but they start moving. There's a ripping sound, kind of like tree roots or plant roots being torn free from the ground. And the first of what looks like a person, but instead of skin, it's more like tree roots, vines, and branches have woven themselves in and through the bone structure to become his outer casing. He's wearing what looks like what would have been the height of fashion maybe 20, 30 years ago. And then another one rips up, another tree root. This one bigger, maybe Orog size, so a half ogre. He's wearing what looks like from the waist down would have been adventurer gear, plate mail style boots, an armored waistcoat. But his skin also has been replaced with threaded roots and fiber from the plant life. Their eyes are all glowing green, and they start moving fast. They're trying to rip themselves up to the ground as you guys are starting to climb over the first stone. What do you do?
I'm going to help everyone up over the stone to at least get beyond this barrier.
Okay, you guys drop as they come completely out of the ground. There's about 10 of them total.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
I'm going to say run.
Let's get out of here.
We'll start the door first, and I'll get Fever out and going with Flame, and then tell the Ranger to move, and then I'll move from behind.
All right. All right, so that's your order going out. You guys, what do you call it? Move down the pathway that leads to this place, and you guys can see like the snap stabby tree limbs that were folded over are kind of up now, almost like an arch in and of themselves. Kind of like all the tension is now out of them from being restrained or pulled back for so long. As you guys are trucking it, you start hearing like all these like small arrows and darts firing from either side. There's big, huge boulders that run across your across the path as you guys pass. So it looks like these traps were set to be triggered by people more walking than running. And these things bound onto the path, and they are moving quick. It looks like they'll catch up to you right before you hit the lip of the basin where that big tree mound was.
Okay, I start smashing flasks as I run, and then ignite them with fever.
Okay. You
Just
set
like
the entire
throwing them down. Fever, flame, run.
You set the entire trail ablaze. You can hear scampering wildlife and birds taking off from the quick ignition of the burning oil. As you look back, these kind of like these tree zombies just dart off into the wood line. And then you kind of lose them into the foliage because they blend so seamlessly.
Hopefully they get the traps.
You guys get to the basin and start climbing down, I would assume.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, who has a shield? I have a shield. Do you have a shield? Does the ranger have a shield? Probably not.
I don't.
No, I don't.
No, she doesn't.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll form at the bottom. We'll form a bulldozer front, or like like that.
Mm-hmm.
With the two shields, and then try to push through as fast as possible.
All of the black palm.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys start making the climb down. All right. I'm just setting up a board real quick. Is there anything else that you're doing, or anything else you're trying to set up?
So as we're doing that, I'm going to be using my axe to sort of try and push some of the palms out of the way as well, to make sure that they don't touch anyone. Or
because if you guys are running through these, you're going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
We will
if I'm behind them with their shields, I'm going to pull my axe out and be ready.
All right. So you guys have made your way through about halfway. You're almost to the center where the big mound was, where that tree was on top, when these tree zombies kind of explode out of the foliage. They jump in the air down from the above cliff, and they're in the air when you guys make for that center mound. I assume you're skirting around it and not on it?
Yes, we'll skirt.
All right. The first one, you're in the rear, right?
Yes.
The first one of the tree zombie dude. Let me just rearrange this. He goes for a swipe at your back.
Uh-oh.
What's your armor class?
My armor class is currently -1.
He hits you.
Uh-oh.
So he hits you with a swipe for a whopping 5 points. So you can feel your armor tug back as the kind of like the tips of his talons gain some purchase. There's a quick snap to it as he rips off sections of armor, and you continue forward. It looks like as they kind of start catching up, it looks like just the one caught up to you, and they're making the skirt. So there's roughly 4 of the smaller ones and 2 of the big ones.
Okay. Can I give this one a hack?
Absolutely. You're going to try and cut backwards?
Yeah, I'm going to cut backwards. I get...
They're AC 5.
AC 5. So my Thico is 12 right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit him once. I'm going to miss him once. And I'm going to hit him twice. And
All right.
he's a large creature, right?
This one's a smaller one, so man-sized.
Okay. I will give him
And
8 points of damage plus 2 points of damage. That'll be 10 points of damage.
for the fire.
Does he get fire?
Yep.
So we'll do fire of 6 and 12, 22 points of damage.
Okay. Plus, we're going to add another 4 to that because of the what do you call it there? A type of undead.
Okay. Oh,
So-
that's right. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, it's then he gets +4 for that.
Yep. So you whack at this thing several times. You turn around, hit it in the shoulder, kind of switch hands a little bit, whack it in the knee, and then switch hands again and stab backwards, kind of trying to keep yourself on the move so that you're not going to having to stop.
Right.
He collapses in what looks like mossy covered bones and shattered plant matter.
Nice.
So he falls down. You can see the 2 larger ones. They're skirting way deep in this kind of like this basin,
Okay.
and they're hugging the wall, kind of on the same side you are. And 2 of the other ones lose. You lose in the foliage going on the other side of the mound.
Okay.
All right. So Shadow, you were in the front.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if they're after the garnet that they took off the first body.
Anything's possible at this point. All right, so Shadow, were you in the front?
If we were running through the ferns, I thought I was in the back.
All right, so you're in the back, and then Patty, you're in the middle.
I would, yeah, assume I'm in the middle somewhere.
All right. So Shadow, as you're coming around, you see 2 of these like grass zombies. You guys are skirting this way around the mound. They were skirting the other way. So they're basically going to reach the front of this before you guys make the climb back up the cliff. And they're going to get there about the same time you guys will. So you got 2 of those things heading for you. There's 1 more in the back because Prometheus did a Japanese steakhouse on one of them, and then you got the 2 big ones skirting way to the outside. So now we're going to roll for initiative. So all that means, Shadow, is that we're taking a die roll, and whoever gets the highest die roll gets to roll first, or gets to attack first. So did we want to let our new guest roll for initiative?
Yes.
All right, so you're going to take a 1d20 roll, Shadow, and tell me what you get.
Hold on, it's not working in that window. Let me switch back to my internet. I got a 12.
Okay, and I'm going to roll, and I get a 7.
Whoa.
All right, so you guys will go first. Shadow, what would you like to do? You have 2 coming straight at you.
I want to use the compound bow that you gave me, or the composite bow.
Right on. All right, so now you have, because you're a specialist with this weapon, it means that this is your preferred method of attack. And what that you have, every time it's your turn, you're going to get 3 chances to attack for every 2 rounds. So every time you get a chance to attack, that's called a combat round. So in every one of those, right, you're going to get 3 every 2. So that means in the first round, you get to attack twice. In the second round, you attack once. Third round, you attack twice. Fourth round, once. So forth and so on. Yes?
Okay.
Cool. All right. So you want to take 2 shots? Do you want to level them at the same guy or different guys?
1 at each, and try
Okay.
to slow them down. Okay. So what do I have to roll for that?
All right. So you're going to roll a 1d20 and then tell me what you get. All right. So
16.
16. and they're AC 5. All right, so you keep hearing us say this word THACO. All that means, it's a little acronym that means it's actually THAC 0. It's 2-hit armor class 0, right? So what we do is if you look on your sheet on the left-hand side, you should see a row of boxes going up, and then it should say THACO on the top. Do you have that number?
No, I'm looking for it.
All right, here we go. So I think I have you right here, and your THACO is that. So yeah, 16 hits for the first shot. So which arrows are you using? Are you using the normal arrows, or are you using the sheath arrows?
What are sheath arrows?
Sheath arrows are like big war arrows. They have big, nasty barbed steel heads. And then regular arrows just have a small metal point on them.
Okay, I'll try the sheath arrows first.
All right. So the first one nails that first guy. It catches him in the shoulder, excuse me, almost separating at the clavicle. These are heavy, nasty arrows. So roll 1d8.
8.
Yeah. So there we go. Now recovered.
Is that just coffee, Walt?
Yes, it is just coffee. All right, so you got a full 8 points.
Yeah.
That rips off a section of shoulder. I should have taken my allergy meds today before the cat started crawling on me. That hits him in the shoulder, almost rips the shoulder clear off. The second shot, go ahead and roll that 1d20 again.
Everybody in the chat got quiet. Or am I not seeing chat?
No, they probably just want to see you guys die.
Oh,
What was this? What was the number, Shadow?
12.
12. That one's a miss. So it sails right by the guy. He's got like mossy hair. It kind of Juice Shed says, "Mess him up, Shadow." It kind of flutters as the arrow goes through, and the arrow gets lost in the foliage. That brings us to Paddy.
Okay, so are any of these within melee range?
No. You have the
Not yet.
ones that are around behind. You have one that's chasing Nick. If you stayed in place and let Nick run by you, you can hit it. Then you have two massive ones that are outside. So here, let me give you guys a little example of this. All right, so if you guys look at the map.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. So out here, see
Yep.
that yellow line pinging?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the two big ones.
Mm-hmm.
You got the one that's chasing Nick right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you got these two down here that Ricky just dumped 2 arrows into.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
All right, and here is the way up right here, the climb that that you guys need to get up to. All right, so what do you do?
So seeing that these, I think I'm just going to save my attack.
So you're gonna let Nick attack first till he passes.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, you're up.
I'm up. I get 2 attacks this round. A 1 and a 20. What the
Nice.
hell? What the hell?
Way to fail forward.
Natural 1 and 20. Jim.
Oh, if Jim were here.
Of Walt's DMing style. And then he'll get mad at us. And so you like to have fun playing D&D. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we play. Okay, so I'm going to hit once. Is this one of the large ones or one of the regular ones?
One of the regular ones.
Okay, so we're going to get 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 strength, 11. And then we're going to add 2d6 for fire damage. So we're going to get a total of 8 there, 19 damage.
Oof. You shred this thing.
Yeah.
It comes apart in a flaming wreck of sticks and debris. Um, it hits the ground. Its clothes, the rest of its clothes, which were modeled and just basically disintegrating anyway, just catch fire. Patty, what do you do?
So what am I able to reach with my axe at this point?
Not a lot. If you run, you can
Mm-hmm.
pass by Shadow
Mm-hmm.
and start on the ones that are coming around the other side.
And okay,
And
yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to run ahead and screaming in dwarven battle cries and just shouting as loud as I can with shield in one hand, axe in the other, ready to bring it down on the first bad guy I meet.
right on, hit me. AC 5.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I rolled an 8.
An 8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's.
that definitely does not.
You're a specialist though, aren't you?
Am I?
You have a specialty in using that weapon. I believe you is Killian, right?
Yeah. What does that mean?
You get 3 attacks every 2 rounds. So you get 2
Okay,
attacks this round.
2 this time. And that one was a 15.
That one works.
Yeah. What's my damage again? Relax.
And we have Jushed, who is new to the stream, and he wants to know what everybody's class is. And welcome. Normally, Jushed, this is James M. Ward, legendary DM's CrimsonHawk show, and he likes to let us run small adventures before the main show, which starts at noon. And right now, you are seeing Paddy Finn playing Killian the Dwarf, Shadow the Ranger, and me, Prometheus, a thief fighter.
Okay, so I rolled a 5 on that attack. Or to
For the damage.
Yep.
Are you attacking the one with the arrow sticking out of it, or the one that doesn't have any damage?
The one with the arrow.
You start where the arrow is, shattering the arrow and shattering the rest of the thing's shoulder, basically driving it right into the dirt right in front of Shadow's feet.
Nice.
The one that was coming up and moving, so that one dies. And this one comes up and tries to take a whack at you, Patty.
Mm-hmm.
What's your armor class?
1.
Oh God, no. Yeah, he basically just collides against you. There's a lot of scratching. You feel moisture and water droplets coming off of him as his very wet, dense structure just slams against you. But other than that, he's basically ineffective against your armor. Nick, because of where you are on the mound, you notice the 2 large ones that were skirting the outside.
Okay.
They start angling around towards you, and they basically get into a line with each other, or get in line with each other. The first one comes to the edge of the cliff and stops. The second one, it's weird because at your vantage point, you see him kind of like almost open up. His rib cage explodes open. He's reaching way, way wide, almost like as if he was doing a spread eagle, as if he was parachuting. He slams into the first one, and then the first one jumps. When it's in the air, you can see the cracking and maneuvering of vines and stick structures that have become these things' skin, realigning the 2 creatures into one thing with 4 legs and 4 arms. It jumps at you, trying to basically land on you and do like a double-handed, like wrestling kind of strike. The only thing it's really missing is the chair.
The old chair.
It gets your armor class is 0, -1. You're just like, well, that's new. Whoop! And you step back just in time as it rams into the side of the hill. It knocks stones, roots. There's a large section of the hill that cave in as this thing hits, right? And now it's standing right beside you. It's also a lot taller than it was a second ago. All right, so now we go back around to the front of the batting order. That brings us to Shadow.
Sorry, trying to get that plugged in.
No worries.
Um,
So you have one of these tree zombies in front of you, and a giant one behind you.
okay, I'm gonna have to say fire at these things.
All right,
So I have the one shot since I had two last time.
that is correct. Yep,
Okay, and D20
hit me.
9.
That is gonna be close. Hold on a second. While I'm doing that, Killian, Paddy, what are you doing?
Okay, I've got one attack this round now, don't I? So I'm going to. I want to finish off as many of these as possible. So I see that. I guess a shadow attacking the one that we were sort of like focused on before. So I'm going to go for the same one, and that's I rolled a 16.
Oh yeah, you hit it. Go ahead, give me some damage.
Use all your dice.
Yeah, just roll it all.
Just roll the entire thing. Ah, it's a 1.
Did when your DM like just picked up like all the 6-siders.
Wait, that's not how you D&D. All right. So what did you get?
A 1 for the damage.
Oh, yeah. It takes the axe hit. Kind of looks at the chip of wood that's missing where its skin used to be, and it draws its hand back like it's going to try and pimp smack you back into 1984. We have Prometheus.
Prometheus takes Fever and flings it overhead at the giant and tells the Fever to turn the giant to stone.
Oh snap!
So it moves into dancing sword mode and hits. What's the AC I need to hit?
AC 4. These get a save, right?
They do get a save, yes, and it does hit.
Ooh, no, he does not make his save. So it goes into dancing mode. It slaps into the side of this thing. It pulls back, and you hear that creaking sound as the wood becomes stone. And it looked like two of the limbs were going to come up from underneath to kind of like grab you around the ribs, and the limbs on top were going to pummel you, and they just all stop in mid grab, and you're just like. And
I re-grab my sword and flourish.
So, a quick question: what are gnolls?
Knolls?
Yeah.
Think a 7-foot tall walking, talking hyena.
Okay, because my sheet says favorite enemy is giants and +4 to gnolls.
Yep. Don't even worry about that for right now.
Okay.
But someday.
Yeah, when you come back to play another time. All right, so you don't see any more enemy around you other than the ones you guys just mollywomped, but you hear more of them in the trees. Start making the climb.
Because they seem to be former adventurers, I grab Fever and say, do we have any items on these?
The big one. There's something embedded. You're going to have to break the stone to get it out, but you could probably do it.
I got a dwarf. He's a great stone breaker.
He jumps forward with his axe. Yes.
All right, so you start cracking up.
Yeah. Boom.
The other ones that are smaller, one of those guys had a dagger on his hip.
Okay.
And the what do you call it? The sword is telling you that you need that.
All right. I take that dagger.
Okay, and she tells you also to be very careful.
Okay, I shall.
So you eventually hack through this thing. Just as you're hacking through the what do you call it? The outer layer of this thing, you manage to pull out what looks like an amulet. Might have been on its neck at one point, but and then just gotten kind of grown over as these roots had replaced its skin.
Okay.
But that's all you found. Just that dagger. Fever says that dagger and the what do you call it?
Amulet.
Yeah. KTF Fiend, maybe my decision to branch out into tree-related jokes was rooted in folly. I better leaf my other tree puns at home.
I'm glad that he was able to stump his opinion.
All right.
They're a little bit wooden, aren't they?
Yes, there you go. Yes.
All right, so you guys make the climb up the thing, and you continue back down that initial way to get out. As you guys are moving through the cave system, there's a loud snap behind you, and the back of the cave entrance where you guys just left, rocks start just like filling in the place. Now I'm going to need some dexterity checks. So you guys start running forward, and as you start running forward, there's, what do you call it? Kind of like a section of rock behind you, like part of that cave that had come in. In the root system above you in the cave, and now that fever is ignited the way it is, you can kind of see them. There are two of those massive kind of like Orog tree zombies that you guys were just fighting. They both jump at one of the larger rocks and encase it. They kind of like grasp their hands together, and then the tree roots that is their skin start forming around the rock, and the rock starts moving, chasing you guys down the hall. So I'm going to need a first round of dexterity checks. So you need your dexterity or lower to avoid getting hit by this rock.
Oh,
And that's the 20.
Yep.
I'm gonna hold my dexterity check
Okay.
to assist anybody who doesn't make their dexterity check by adding whatever I can to their dexterity, because I have a fantastic dexterity. I have a 19.
So if somebody trips, you're going to pick them up.
I'll give them some points.
Go for it. So the first one, go ahead, Shadow. Give me the roll.
I got 13.
And what your dexterity is a 13, right?
It's a 14.
Yep, you're good. All right, Patty, the dwarf.
I won.
You see him trip and fall and smash on his face, and he looks up to Prometheus.
So Prometheus is running, like looking at this like writhing ball that's encased a giant rock, and every time the ball like rolls a certain way, you see one of these faces kind of like come out at you and like roar. Periodically, spikes come out, like giant tree limbs form into spikes to try and impale you. And as you turn around, you almost trip on the dwarf. If you first give me a dexterity check.
Oh my gosh, I made it. With a
And give me a strength check to see if you can hoist him back up to his feet.
Easily. Yeah, I have a 17 strength.
Okay. So you guys start, what do you call it? Start continuing the run. There's a period of time where it kind of twists a little bit. And as it twists, there's like some fall offs, and the rock falls off into like a lower, almost like a lower lane. It doesn't slow down at all. In fact, it even picks up speed and starts like going up almost like a marble on the outside of a roulette wheel. There's a sharp snap, and it pushes itself back onto the lane, chasing you guys again. Give me another dexterity check. So Shadow, you're first.
I have to say that this is the adventure 12-year-old me always wanted.
I rolled a 14.
Okay, and you have a 14, right?
Yeah.
So you're good. All right. So
Just barely.
the ranger is light on her feet. Okay, Patty?
7. So
Yeah, you're good this time. And Nick, as long as you don't
7.
roll a 20. Yep.
Yeah. It would be my do a 20.
So you guys, yeah, exactly. So you guys exit the cave. This thing slams into the cave mouth, sealing it up. The kind of like the giant tree zombie falls off of it because the other one's trapped on the other side. And as it's reforming itself, standing up, it explodes in a brilliant shower of flame and mayhem. leaving the cave mouth charred, and you guys wondering what the hell happened. As you turn to your boat, your scout, your guide, and the boatman are in the front of the boat, tied to the prow line, so they can't move. And there's a man in plate armor with his hand up, and there is the remnants of fire and like shadow moving through his fingers, and he's got 20 knights with him.
So did we just leave Norton in the jungle?
Yeah, I turned to Prometheus and said, "It's a pity we didn't bring Norton."
We were at the cliff, then all of a sudden we were in a fight and at the tunnel.
Poor
Prometheus
Norton.
And he says, there never was a Norton.
He steps forward, removing his helmet, and the plate mail is ornate. It's gorgeous. It looks like easily 10, 15,000 gold pieces worth of protection on this guy. He removes his helmet. His hair is tied up in like a war braid. So when it's not, it's probably all, like Fabio and stupid. And he sits there and he says, "I believe you have something that belongs to me."
No, I don't think so.
So you were just running from your lives from the trap that was set to finish off anyone who took the idol?
Oh, the idol, yeah. Yeah, we do have that. We did go in and who are you?
I'm the one that belongs to. And
Yeah,
you
I
go
was
from
just gonna we dropped it at the cliff.
the guy who hired you was not this guy.
Yeah. And what about the people on the walls and things?
They're not there.
And there's the 20 knights. There's the guy in the plate mail. There's our boat beyond.
Yep.
They're all tied up. And there's this impressive looking specimen of a knight. And he feels that this idol that I pull out and hold up is his.
Ah, yes, there it is. That would belong to me, sir. I will take it from you.
I was supposed to be paid for this.
Very well. Now, kind of in a flashback scene, you guys are standing in a hall for a major lord whose son has been cursed.
Right.
And he has sent you for this to relieve the curse from his son.
Right. I remember that part.
And he's just like, and this is not that guy. And he goes, "And what were you being paid, sir?" Because this transaction, and as he gets closer, right, his eyes are almost glowing green.
Right.
And he's got a chain hood on that the helmet sits atop. But you can tell now that these are elvish features you're looking into. And not a half elf either. This guy's like straight up old school OG kind. Could be
one of the racist kind.
What's that?
One of the racist kind.
One of the racist kinds. And he says, "This doesn't have to be a pleasant affair. In fact, I'm actually a big fan. I was going to hire you for this myself until that other fop got to you first. So name your price, boy. Name your price."
And he's got 20 of them. He's got 20 knights.
20 knights.
Dude,
they're
they're
not just like 10 on this side and 10 on this side. He has them
Right.
positioned correctly so that if you guys do something stupid, the archers are going to nail you down and the spearmen are going to come in and ruin your day.
Yeah. So like it's a murder. I really have no play here that I can think of.
There is one or two.
Ooh.
I don't
What
want
does
that game.
Fever say?
Fever
What's
says,
the craziest thing we could do, Fever?
Fever says, "You know, I seem to remember your guide mentioning something. Your guide mentioning something about how happy the natives would be that this was out of their midst, as long as you touched nothing else?
We took a dagger and a gem in there.
But did that belong to them? Because the specifics of what the guy told you was the tribesmen, as long as you touched none of the tribe's treasure, they didn't care what you took.
Right.
Especially
we
if
did
you
it.
took the idol.
Right. But the tribesmen are not seen right now.
You don't see them, no.
Are they there though?
Yes, Fever tells you. So, but you're the only one who knows that because she's the only one. Yeah, you're the only one who can hear her.
Do you know how to say in their language, I am your savior, destroy these people?
There is a loud wail that comes from the sword, kind of like you might hear out of a conch shell that's native to the area, and then this strange language filters through the forest.
Hakuna Matata.
please take 50 XP for making the GM laugh. But what do you call it? It filters through. There's an echo, and he says, "And what exactly was that supposed to do?" As 4 of his knights are impaled by arrows and spears. Damn you, boy! As he pulls his sword, the screen wipes, and you guys are back in the hall, a little roughed up, and the Lord says, "I cannot thank you enough for this. One of the guides that got you to the area said that there was a problem with another suitor."
Yeah, he tried to claim that we owed him something, and but you know us, we always keep our word and deliver on payment. So yeah, he seemed to know you and didn't like you very much, and I think he wanted to make sure that your heir died. But everything is better now that we're about to be paid.
He says, "Well, the only problem is the way this thing works." He holds up the idol and he says, "This is called the heir of Herrera. An heir not by in what we breathe, but in who inherits from us. This will fix my son, but I will die in the process. So please see my steward on the way out. We will not talk again, but I would consider it a personal favor and a dying wish fulfilled if when my son calls, you come to bring your personal brand of mayhem back to him again."
With pleasure, because I don't like trying to be robbed by assholes.
And the curtain shuts. Nicely done, guys. Nicely done.
No, yeah, that was great.
So, what did you think of your first ever D&D session, Shadow?
That was fun. I'm glad I wasn't leading anything.
So there's a lot to Knight of Barsoom. Dang it, they lived. Oh, I mean, yay. So there's a lot that goes into kind of like learning the sheet and learning where everything is and how the different pieces work. But it's just like anything else. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. So, but we really appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for having me around.
Thank
Yeah,
you. You were one of our more expert noobs. You did a great job.
And Knight of Barsoom was actually happy you didn't die, which is uncharacteristic for him.
He usually demands a little blood sacrifice.
Yeah, he demands a lot. So, but okay.
I was the only female in the group. Of course he's happy that
Oh my God, I am totally not touching that one. So, we want to thank everybody for coming out. Don't forget that in about 45 minutes, the regular D&D session for CrimsonHawk Adventures will be back on this channel. Nick and I will be back, Paddy and Shadow. If you guys want to do this again, hook me up. Hit me up, and we'll get you back on.
Yeah, we'd love
I'll
to.
definitely do this again.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for coming out, guys. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch you on the next stream in about 45.